Roman Emperor Constantine knew the eastern half of his empire had become too big and too remote to be effectively governed from Rome. Another capital was needed, closer to the Asian provinces. He decided to build his new city on the Bosphorus Straits, near the existing town of Byzantium, and he would call his glorious new city Constantinople. One should never assume that all will remain peaceful. To protect Constantinople, you will train an army and be shown the basics of combat. You will also construct walls and towers. Welcome to the future site of glorious Constantinople, sire. Preparations are proceeding well, but Isaurian warriors camped in the mountains have been giving us some trouble. We need troops to defend against them. Select the barracks and use the phalanx button to train 6 phalanx foot soldiers. We currently have just enough resources to accomplish this. Remember that you can queue up units. We know the Isaurians attack in waves, sending their units armed with shock weapons first. Shock weapons like swords are best counterattacked with piercing weapons like spears, such as those carried by our phalanx units.
Where should I go?
Our small army is ready just in time. Isaurian raiders have been sighted riding towards the city. But look, the chariot archers of your Imperial Guard are trying to attack the Isaurians. Alas, your Imperial Guard has been wiped out. They were courageous but foolhardy, my lord. As you see, archers are not effective against soldiers armed with shock weapons. Fortunately, the Isaurians have retreated for now, but they will return. When they do, use your spear-wielding phalanxes to wipe them out.
Your orders for honor and glory. For the throne. For honor and glory. For the throne. For honor and glory. For the throne.
Excellent! Your phalanxes have eliminated the raiders. As you see, warriors with shock weapons are best countered by soldiers armed with piercing weapons.
Where should I go?
Soon the Isaurians will send a second wave of warriors. These are sure to be archers. We saw earlier that our archers were beaten by their shock weapons, so train 6 short sword units at the barracks to face their archers. Resources for them are now available. While the remaining short swordmen are being trained, sire, let me remind you that you can set a rally point for the barracks. Either use the round Set Rally Point button to place a rally flag, or simply right-click on the map while the barracks is selected. The troops trained at the barracks will congregate at the rally point.
Sire, ready, my lord. We're under attack.
Isaurian bowmen have been sighted, Your Highness. It looks like your remaining phalanxes are taking them on. The phalanxes fought courageously, but in vain. Units with piercing weapons are not very effective against archers. Send your short swords against the Isaurian bowmen, and you will see that they are much better suited for the job.
Sire, Lord, with all my heart. Attack with sharpened steel. With all my heart. Attack with sharpened steel. With all my heart. We're under attack. Attack with sharpened steel.
The Isaurian bowmen have been defeated. Soldiers armed with swords or other shock weapons are the most effective troops to send against archers. The third Isaurian attack wave will consist of javelin throwers, who are best countered with archers. You can train new chariot archers at this archery range. Select the archery range and click on the chariot archer button. Train a total of 6 chariot archers. You have been given enough resources to accomplish this. This may be a good time to experiment with advanced orders, such as behaviors and formations. Select a group of units and notice the 2 octagonal buttons that appear above the basic action buttons.
Ready, my lord. Ready, my lord. Ready, ready, my lord.
The first button, on the left, sets the unit behavior of the selected troops. Click on this button. New buttons appear to allow you to select a different behavior. A behavior essentially defines the rules of engagement for these troops. Try selecting a new behavior. Note that you'll see a difference in your troops' behavior only when they engage enemy units. The button next to Set Unit Behavior is the Set Formation button. Clicking it provides you with a set of formation options. Formations are standing orders that tell your troops how to line up at the end of a move order. Try selecting a formation. Now, with your units still selected, right-click on the ground where you want them to move. When they get to their destination, they will line up in the formation you selected. The final wave of Isaurian javelin throwers have been sighted. The short swordmen are moving to engage them. You'd think they'd know better by now. Try moving those same units again, but this time hold the right mouse button down when you right-click. With the button held down, moving the mouse displays an arrow. The arrow indicates the direction your units will face when they line up in formation. Choose a direction, release the mouse button, and watch the results.
Okay, my lord.
The short swordmen were completely wiped out. Swords and other shock weapons are not very effective against piercing weapons. But now you can use your new chariot archers to annihilate the enemy javelin throwers.
Okay, my lord. Outstanding. Okay, my lord. We're under attack.
The Isaurian javelins have been defeated by your chariot archers. As you see, archers can be very effective when used properly.
Yes?
Always remember, sire, arrows beat piercing weapons beat shock weapons, and shock weapons beat arrows. With our borders safe for now, it is time to transform Byzantium into Constantinople. The first order of business is to construct defensive walls. Walls require stone, which has been provided for you.
Certainly.
To build walls, select one or more citizens and left-click on the wall button.
As you wish.
Then, left-click on the map to indicate the starting point for the wall. When you move the mouse across the terrain, a ghost version of the wall appears.
As you wish.
Left-click again on the location where you want this section of your wall to end.
Certainly.
You can now left-click a third time to place another section of wall attached to the first. Right-click at any time to stop placing walls. If this seems complicated, sire, don't worry. You'll soon get the hang of it. Even though wall construction has started, you can make the work go faster by assigning more citizens to the task. Just select more citizens, then right-click on a wall foundation. If you attempt to lay down a wall but have run out of stone, wall foundations will not appear. You will have to try again when you have sufficient stone. Also note that individual units of wall cannot be built on top of existing objects, like trees and buildings or on water. But the rest of the wall will be built around these obstacles. You can go back to fill in gaps later. Your new wall is coming along superbly, Highness. Just 25 more wall sections will bring us very close to completion. Don't worry about closing yourself in with walls, sire. When you're ready, I'll show you how to build gates.
Certainly.
Yes, my lord?
As you wish. Yes? Yes, me lord. Yes? Certainly. As you wish.
Yes, my lord? Certainly.
Yes? As you wish. Yes, me lord. Certainly. Yes, as you wish. Certainly.
Yes, my lord? As you wish.
Excellent. Your new wall is nearly complete. You should look around and fill in any gaps that may still remain.
Certainly.
Now it's time to put in a gate. Left-click on any straight section of wall. You'll see a gate button at the lower left corner of your screen. Click on this button and straight sections of wall where gates can be placed will be highlighted green. Move the mouse pointer over the green walls and a ghost gate will appear.
To build a gate where the ghost is, simply left-click and it will be placed there immediately. Well done. Notice that you do not need citizens to build gates, and gates do not cost any additional stone. As long as you have a straight section of wall that is 5 sections long, you can make a gate. Gates only open for you and your ally, sire. But if you lock a gate by clicking its lock button, no one can pass through. In addition to walls and gates, you can defend your city with towers. Select one or more citizens. You'll see that the tower button is now available. Click the button, then left-click on the site where you want the tower to be built.
Certainly.
Like walls, towers cost stone. Build at least 2 towers to demonstrate to the people that Constantinople will be secure against her enemies.
As you wish.
Yes, my lord.
Certainly. Yes, as you wish.
Building defensive walls and towers is a good step forward, my lord. But what if you need to destroy the walls and towers of your enemies? The most effective way to do this is with siege engines, which can be produced only at a siege factory. There is one already built in the city for your use. Alarming news has arrived, Your Highness. The city of Nicomedia is in revolt. They fear the rising power of Constantinople. A demonstration of your authority is needed. Produce 2 catapults and 2 stone throwers at your siege factory. Just up the river, a transport is waiting for them. When the siege engines are finished, load them on the transport by selecting them and right-clicking on the transport.
Yes, my lord.
Certainly. Yes, my lord.
Hoist the sails!
With the siege equipment loaded aboard, the transport can be sailed across the river and unloaded. Flags have been set to show a safe place to unload. Select the loaded transport and click the unload button. Then right-click on the shore next to the flags. The transport will sail to that location and unload the siege equipment. Good. Now if you destroy the gates of Nicomedia, it will be enough to show them who is boss. Select your siege engines and right-click on their gate to start the attack. Note that stone throwers do splash damage and are therefore good against a mass group of people. Catapults, on the other hand, do more damage at impact and so are more effective against structures like walls, buildings, and gates. Both can be used in your attack on Nicomedia. Your show of force has been successful, Emperor. The rebels of Nicomedia have surrendered, and with the new government firmly established at Constantinople, this region has been secured for the future. Long live the Empire!